So I ran this company called The Hustle, which we wrote about you, and you actually were homies with Brina, this woman who worked for me, and you were like at one point were like, "Hey, come visit me in San Diego."
And
I remember like, yeah, in Trung, yeah. And I remember like right when your story broke, it was Pharma Bro, and then I got to like, you and I chatted on Blab before, and I don't know if you remember, we've talked before. And I'm like, it's funny, this guy's not really a bro at all. Like he's just a nerd. He's just like he talks a lot, like, and he's confident, but he's like a pretty nerdy guy. And the reason it's so funny about media perception, the reason your story did, I think, the way it all like started was you have this picture. I'm looking at it now. It's you wearing like Ray-Bans and a red polo, and you have like a picture of looks like Flow Rider in the back, like on a music video in a Bugatti, and you're like pointing down like this, and you like your jawline looks cut, and you look like the broiest of bros. And I remember when we wrote this story in The Hustle, we tried a bunch of different photos, and that photo did best because it's just like you're just like giving into this big old stereotype. And
we just made this trade.
Like that fucking picture ruined you, man.
So the backstory is funny. Like we had just done this stock trade. It was in my personal account. We made $20 million shorting the stock called Vital Therapies. They were developing a liver dialysis machine. We spent day and night stalking this company and figuring out everything about the attempt to make a liver dialysis machine. It works for a kidney really well. They wanted to take that same idea and apply it to the liver. Sounds good, right? Doesn't work. There are a lot of technical reasons. Me and two colleagues spent day in, day out stalking, figuring this company out. We wrote a 40-page report. We put the report out. The stock fell like 40% just on the report. 2 weeks later, the device ended up proving that it didn't work. It didn't help anybody with severe liver disease. Then the stock went down like 90%. And we were short the stock. And so the day it went down, we did that. The Flow Rider song is called It's Going Down or something like that. And so I was like, doing this like thing. Because like we thought these guys were basically fraudsters, lying about their liver device, which had proven that it doesn't even help people. It probably hurts them. But they were still trying to get through that like venture capital grind and public company grind of like lying and trying to make shit stick and put the best, spin on things. And so when we shorted it and it went down, it's going down, that was the kind of joke. And I was like, oh, how funny would it be if I dressed up like a bro for a second. And like, we had a friend in the trade too. We had a couple friends in the trade. Like putting it on Twitter was kind of like oh, check it out. Like it's going down because of us, because we wrote the short report. And again, the next like 2 weeks, I made it like my profile pic, and like next 2 weeks, like that's what everyone seized on. It's like, oh, who is Martin
this
Shkreli?
picture.
Yeah.
Like this picture is like, it's just so funny. Like I don't know the whole facts of your story, and you admitted wrongdoing and everything, but it's like it was amplified, and this picture was like the beginning of the end for you. This one picture, that's what it seems. Because I remember this one picture going.
The beginning of an interesting story. To me, like I'll take it and try it. Like you would look at it, and many other people look at it as the beginning and the end. I look at it as life's just a crazy ride. It's a crazy movie. It would be very boring to like be a value investor for the next 50 years and make $100 billion doing Graham and Dodd stock picking. Like, so it's right for somebody else. It's not right for my life. And it is the path I chose, not like, it was an intentional choice, maybe not the wisest choice, but it is the choice for me. And, I don't regret having had like a really interesting, exciting life. There are moments of it that weren't fun, but it's still one of these things where I'm not like deeply ashamed of like something I did or something like that. Like it's a conscious choice I made to sort of like do the things I did. The photo was, it was alarming to me that the media could take like an image and say, okay, this is this person. Let's cast it this way. And I think it sort of backfired in the long run. I'm sort of more popular than ever, and kind of doing just fine. So
if you
there's a price to be paid.
If you could go back, would you have advised, if you could go back and kind of whisper in the ear of yourself at any point in time, would you have told yourself, hey, if you're going on TV, don't say that thing. Don't be smug. Don't do this. Don't do that. Would you have played it differently knowing what you know now?
I think like, there's two sides of the story with like the rationalist would say, of course, like tone it down here, tuck in your, tuck that in, then tuck in your shirt there, straighten up there, metaphorically. But I think the oldest wisdom is know thyself, right? And it's like, just be yourself, know yourself, be who you are. And like, if you spend the rest of your life trying to make somebody else happy and conforming to society it's going to be not a life worth living. And if you spend your life answering to your own conscience, I think then, you can, no matter what happens, no matter put you in jail for the rest of your life, you'll have at least have something nobody could take away from you, which is like your own identity and your own personality. And I think there's a lot of
like William
value to that.
Wallace, man. You're like William Wallace in Braveheart. They'll take our freedom, or what do they say? They'll take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
There's a point in time where you have to be a real person. And I think like, if you want to be a corporate sort of like mimic of like every other corporate person in the world, that's a life. If that's the life you want, that's the life you want. There's just only so much of that life that I can take. And for me, I had it when it came to like the media, like you said, with the Flo Rida picture or whatever, the typecasting, it was like, I can't, that's a line that was too much for me. So I think it's probably more reactive than anything else. Like Hillary Clinton tweeting at me and stuff like that. It was like so surreal. Like me, the mild-mannered pharmaceutical executive, I'm the object of your fucking scorn. This is nuts. So a lot of it was that like provoke and be provoked. Like it was not like easy to sit there and just do nothing. So like it's easy. Like I'll turn it on you guys. Like it's very easy to sort of throw advice out, but when you're in the hot seat and somebody says, "Oh, aren't you this and aren't you that?" and you say, "Well, I'm sorry, I caused some disturbance here," and I'm just really, it's really hard to do that, sometimes.